All right, everyone. This is going to be an exciting one. We finally have him here in studio. It's another Wayside Furniture, Blind & Sons Studio C session for our Summit members with just one of the good guys in our world of music, Mr. Frank Turner, everyone.
Hi.
Give him a nice warm welcome. Coming off of a show last night at the Newport Music Hall in Columbus. I know you're still trying to wake up a little bit.
Little bit, yeah.
A little bit. That's all right. We'll all wake up together with some rousing energy and music here. So, Frank Turner joining us here for a Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session here at the Summit FM. And I want to start things off with a song that we've been playing quite a bit here. I am a frequent visitor of establishments like these. And in my younger years, I think that I have run into this situation, which you'll delve into here with this song. So if you would, please, what do you got for us first?
The first song I'm going to play is a song called Girl from the Record Shop. It goes like this. I'm in love with the girl from the record shop. Sat behind the counter in a rock girl top. Every time she looks at me, my heart just stops. I'm in love with the girl from the record shop. I've been eating every day, buying so much vinyl. Don't even know my own turntable. Something in the small makes me so unstable. Oh yeah, I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love with the girl from the record shop. She's been playing the Supremes and the Four Tops. She still says her favorite record is Everything Sucks. I'm in love with the girl from the record shop. I've been in every day, buying so much vinyl. Don't even know my own turntable. Something in the small makes me so unstable. Oh yeah. My heart got scratched. Day after day, picking through the racks. Couldn't find my groove, I'll be back to black. Amnesiac. Sheer heart attack. 1, 2, 3, I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. There you go.
There you go. I love that song. Frank Turner joining us here for a Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session for our Summit members, touring behind his 10th album, Undefeated, which is available now on Extra Mile Recordings. And yes, as an avid record buyer myself, I can relate to that.
Sure.
Looking at you, Quonset Hut on Cleveland Avenue in Canton back in the early 2000s, the one girl that worked there. Anyway, hey, welcome to Studio C.
Thank you for having me.
Something I wanted to talk to you about is in making this album, it's kind of the first one that you've done, recording it entirely yourself.
Yeah.
And the first that wasn't backed by a major label in quite some time, over a decade now. So, that's got to be kind of maybe a little bit nerve-wracking at first, but is it freeing doing all that as a newly independent artist now?
But I wasn't especially nerve-wracked, if I'm honest with you. I was
okay.
I just felt free.
Yeah.
It was good. I did my time in the major label world, and it had its moments, but it was time to move on. I completed my deal, which is a rare thing to do in this day and age, and they asked me if I'd like to do more, and I said, no, you're right, thanks. And they were maybe not pleasantly surprised by that. But yeah, so I'm sort of captain of my own ship a bit more now than I have been in a while, which I feel good about. And producing was cool. My lockdown project, I don't know about Ohio, we had lots and lots of lockdowns in the UK during the pandemic. And immediately when they started, I knew I needed a hobby. And I've always, the word producer covers a lot of ground, but I've always been involved in the production side of things, but the technical aspect of kind of moving microphones and setting compressors and stuff was not something I'd paid attention to in the past. So I just started watching YouTube videos and then spending insane amounts of money on microphones. And then my original plan was to record other bands, which I did for about 3 years. And then when we came to recording this one, it was like, well, rather than pay somebody a dumpster truck full of cash to clap when I get it right, I could keep that money and it'll also be more in control of the record. And I think it came good. I'm really pleased with it.
It does sound good. And I mean, again, just a freeing moment for you, kind of a new start as an independent artist now. Something else that's coming up here, in fact, you've been touring behind this record now for a little while.
Sure.
Again, just played Columbus last night at the Newport Music Hall. I love that venue. But the next date on this itinerary of yours on tour is the Lost Evenings Music Festival, and it's held this year in Toronto.
Yep.
Describe this, if you would, for those who might not be familiar with what that is.
So it's kind of me fest, if you like. If I ever wonder where all the T-shirts I sell go, I now know. But it started in 2017 in London. I mean, a lot of bands who have, or acts with longevity, have their own kind of annual gathering type thing. It's kind of a cool thing to do. And I was trying to think of something that wasn't just treading on other people's toes. Friends of mine have their own festivals out in Fields. Flogging Molly have a cruise. The Hold Steady do Weekenders, all this kind of thing. And in 2016, there's a band from the UK called Wolf Alice, who are old friends of mine.
They've been
here. They did 4 nights at the Forum rather than playing an arena show because they only had one album out at the time. So they did a 4-night stand at a 2,000 capacity venue with different support acts every night. And I was in the crowd watching them with their manager, and he said, "This is a bit like a festival, really, isn't it?" And I said, "Yes."
As the wheels started turning.
Well, and I was like, "And now forget that you ever said that." And so it's in a different kind of venue every year, a different city every year. We did a couple of London ones at the start. We've done Berlin, we've done Anaheim, we've done Boston. This year in Toronto, next year in... I didn't say it yet because we're not announcing it until Sunday.
Okay.
But it's a fun thing. It's a I think the technical term is it's a portable concept. So and it's really fun for us. We get to kind of spend a few days in the city, and I love Toronto like a lot.
It's a beautiful city.
It is great. I always think it's a manageably sized New York.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, and I'm very excited about that. And we've got lots of Canadian bands that I love playing. I was actually trying to go for a full Canadian bill, but then we got Henry Rollins.
I was just going to say, who else is on the bill for this?
Yeah, so we have lots of bands that I love: The Dirty Nil, Nobro, Northcote, Bedouin Soundclash. Martha Wainwright's playing. I should have looked at the list before I did this interview. Murder by Death are playing. It's gonna be a fantastic run of different bands. But the every year we sort of have one, if you like, legend slot. And I'm the one who decides what constitutes a legend, by the way. Last year we had the Dave Bazan, Pedro the Lion played, which was huge for me because he's one of my favorite songwriters ever. And we've had Loudon Wainwright in that slot before and stuff like that. But this year it's Henry Rollins, who is not Canadian. But I think that he gets a pass.
I think you can make an exception for him.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He was actually due to play the one that we had booked for Berlin in 2020 that didn't happen because of the pandemic. Right. And I'd kind of assumed once that got cancelled that he wasn't going to be part of the festival going forward. And then 6 months ago or something, his agent contacted me and was like, "When are we doing this?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness." Henry still wants to do it. So he's going to be appearing on Thursday, and I'm excited and nervous in equal measure.
I love it, though. That's excellent. The upcoming Lost Evenings Music Festival taking place later this week in Toronto. We are joined here with Frank Turner for a Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session for Summit members, touring behind his 10th album, Undefeated, available now on Extra Mile Recordings. Frank, how about another song? What do you have for us next?
I would love to play another song, and if you don't mind, I'll tell a quick story before I play it. It's a song about going on a camping holiday. Well, it's not really, but it's the genesis of the story is on a camping holiday as a kid. I made a pen friend, and because this is before the internet, we wrote each other physical letters for a few years, and then it petered out, and I wrote a song about that relationship because it's one of the ways that I learned about punk rock music. I enjoy telling people this, it's true. I didn't hear from her for about 30 years until this song was on the radio in the UK, and she sent me an email and said, "Is that song about me?" And I said, "Yes, and nice to hear from you too." But yeah, so this is a song about that. This song is called Letters. We used to write each other letters, such beautiful letters. And every time I'd see my name in her handwriting on an envelope, my day would get a bit better. I didn't forget her. I could ever forget her. But now all that's left on my desk in the dust and neglect is some envelopes empty as ever. It's a terrible thing to share everything that you got with one person who matters.
have it not really mattered. We used to write each other letters, then one day you dried up. Just imagined you were kind of tied up. God only knows I didn't want to impose, so I just bit my tongue with a stiff lip until it was far too late for me to even contemplate writing again just to ask where you've been. So I guess we just settled on stalemate. It's a terrible thing to share everything that you got with one person who matters, have it not really matter. We used to write each other letters. Yeah, it's a terrible thing to share everything that you got with one person who matters, have it not really matter. We used to write each other letters. Yeah, those emails now, this wasn't part of the plan. Let you down, but please understand, you have to bear with me if I'm messing this up, because the truth is I'm useless at opening up. Both of us know it wasn't love in the end. You were more of a teacher, a distant best friend. I've been missing our missives and mourning our youth, and if we got on the phone we tell each other the truth and say I'm tired of just making do, I'm tired of just muddling through. Aren't you tired of making do? I'm tired of just muddling through. It's a terrible thing to share everything that you got. One person who matters, have it not really matter. We used to write each other letters, but it's a curious thing to doubt everything that you got. Get saved by a stranger you knew when you were younger. I need to write another letter. I need to try and put it better. Try and put it better. I started writing you a letter.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. A song about the old-fashioned days of actual correspondence. That was...
I have fun explaining what that song's about to people under the age of 20.
It's a great story. Frank Turner joining us here with that song Letters and performing for our Summit members, another Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session, touring behind his 10th album, Undefeated, available now on Extra Mile Recordings. Something that I want to bring up, too, that you were part of here in this neck of the woods. Back on June 24th, 2018, you performed an in-store sort of mini concert at nearby Hollowbone Records in Fairlawn, the suburbs of Akron here. Packed crowd in there. I couldn't believe the people, the amount of people that were in there. And that was prior to your concert that night in Cleveland. We heard, we already heard your song Girl from the Record Shop. I have to think that that's just got to be a magical situation, playing in record stores like that, in a live setting like that. And did you do that often on that particular tour?
Oh, I do it often on every tour, actually.
Yeah.
I played a show in a record store yesterday in Columbus.
Which record store?
Magnolia
Thunder.
Yeah,
Pussy,
well,
yes.
I wasn't sure whether you wanted me to say the full name of the
Well,
record
I said
store.
it. It's the best name for a record store ever. Or
It's striking.
Sounds like striking is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Bond girl also from the James Bond films.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I've done a few on this tour. I mean, it's partly, obviously, it's self-serving in the sense that selling records is fine with me. But also, I love independent record stores.
Sure.
The whole culture around it. I mean, vinyl or CD or whatever works for you. But it's they're kind of gathering spaces. And I think we live in a world in which everyone's kind of like kidding themselves that you can do everything online. And personally, I think that the last 4 years have shown us that it's like, not everything.
Yeah.
And the fact of being in a physical space with other people is still important.
Much like what we're underway with right now here
Exactly.
in Studio C with our Summit members, sharing this moment together. Something else that I absolutely love about you is that you keep track of every single live concert you do and make mention of it during each show. What number are we at right now?
Last night was 2,948.
Okay. You counted that one at Hollowbone Records.
I did. So, well, this is worth discussing, actually.
Does this count?
Thankfully, no, and I'll tell you why
Okay.
I say thankfully.
I want to hear the explanation.
So the first thing is, since the very beginning, I've had two rules as to what constitutes a show for my count. And one of them is that it's a minimum of 5 songs.
Okay.
And the second one is there has to be more people in the audience than on the stage, which is not always true. So, you know, I love playing. It's my favorite thing to do. In the last month or so, I'm sure you possibly have this in your notes, I have my 3,000th show booked in London in February next year. We have a big party for it. And obviously I need to play exactly the right number of shows between now and then.
So we can't deviate from that list.
Well, and the problem is that for a while I was a little trigger happy. I was like, yeah, we're way under. It's fine. It's not a problem. It's, you know, we can throw extra shows in.
So if I had suggested 5 songs today,
I would have said no.
I respect that.
For the simple reason,
Respect that.
There's 10,000 people coming to the London show who
can't mess
have
this
their
up.
tickets and would be disappointed with show 3002 or whatever.
We can't mess it up.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I can't count today as a show, but I will plead consistency.
No, rules are rules. I appreciate that.
Sure.
You're a stickler, and I can respect that. But no, as you know, I joke all the time that I am the staff archivist and radio station research department here, so that very much appeals to my meticulous nature. So.
Okay, well, mine too, as it goes.
Yeah.
But and Show 3000 will be a lot of fun, and it's a funny thing because obviously there's a degree of bravado in all of this counting, and there's no special reason why Show 3000 will be better than Show 2999. But it's also an excuse for a party.
It's a nice round number to celebrate.
Exactly.
And I love that there is a detailed spreadsheet for you somewhere.
It's on my
documents all
website.
this.
People can look at it.
Yeah, I know. Well, the archive part. Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who don't believe me when I say the show number, and it's a little bit like, why would I lie about this?
Right.
What would I gain?
It's a fair point.
So.
Well, Frank Turner joining us here in a room full of Summit members, another Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session, touring behind the 10th album titled Undefeated, out now on Extra Mile Recordings. Let's do another one. What do you got for us next?
Well, once again, I'm going to tell a quick story before
Sure.
I play it. I'm a storyteller, forgive me that. I'm not sure if anyone in this room is familiar with the songwriter John Otway. One person, fantastic. That's above average for the United States, which is fine. John Otway was a songwriter. He had a big hit in 1978, and he went on television to perform it. And during the song, wearing an extremely tight pair of trousers, climbed on his guitar amp to play a solo, fell off and landed with one leg either side of his guitar amp, and very visibly injured himself in front of roughly a third of the population of the country, because there weren't many TV channels at the time. And people assumed that was the end of John Otway, but John Otway is still touring and releasing records independently. I toured with him in 2006, and this song is a celebration of traveling performers and entertainers, and the people I think of as my tribe. So this song is called Show People.
Step up, kid, sign your name right here. There's pride to take in being a volunteer. It's not gonna be easy, we're all of us equal. You give it your all, you can be show people. Can you stand on your head? Can you land on a dime? Can you find 1,000 different ways to say the same line? Can you show a crowded room the good and the evil? Do the same when it's empty. You can be show people. Sleep where you're sitting, make a pillow from your shoes, fix an engine with duct tape, use a string for a fuse. Can you fly like Icarus, land like Evel Knievel? We'll show you how it's done, cause we are show people. They called us traveling players, fools and troubadours. We did turns for the king, and they still call us horse. Sometimes we've been icons, and the plague is illegal. We believed in our craft, cause we are show people. And I know you didn't want the hand that you were dealt, and the guess that you were scorned for just being yourself. And you knew in your heart then you had something to say. You were willing to work at it through the nights and through the days, and the skills you didn't need. Say exactly what you mean. They weren't perfect when you started. You were hungry and you were lean to be the truest version of yourself. Right through the eye of the needle. Step right up, show 'em what you got. Show people, show people, show people, show people. One day, kid, you're gonna show people. 6 nights a week, you're gonna show people. One day, I promise, you're gonna show people. With a matinee on Saturdays, you're gonna show people. You'll probably be disappointed. You'll often be broke. But in airports and at parties, you're gonna smell your own. You're more likely to be John Otway than the Beatles, but Otway's still on tour. Hats off to the show people.
That's a great song right there. Frank Turner
Thank
here in Studio C at the Summit for another session for our Summit members. And touring behind the new record, Undefeated, that's out now in Extra Mile Recordings. Frank Turner with that song, Show People. I can relate. I go to concerts all the time. And I have my favorites of bands that I go see and travel far and wide for, just like you have. With your following as well. I know there are some of those folks in the room right now. But you are an incredibly prolific touring artist, you know. And
it's true.
I mean,
Guilty as charged.
We just mentioned 3,000 shows coming up on that here real soon. What does drive you to tour so much? I mean, it's a lot, and maybe even more so than most artists.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, partly my kind of referencing something we were talking about earlier. You know, my sort of initial love in life was hardcore punk rock, and there's a book by Henry Rollins called Get in the Van, which is his diary of the Black Flag touring years, and it's brutal, should we say. I know I have friends who read it and were just like, this sounds awful. And I read it and thought, right, this is the instruction manual. Off we go. And so I always wanted to tour hard when I was a kid. And I remember being on the punk scene in the UK, bands would play 40, 50 shows a year, and they'd be all right. And then American bands who were playing 300 shows a year would come through and wipe the floor with our native bands, and I was jealous. Yeah. Also, this is the thing that I think I'm good at in life.
It's true.
And one concentrates on that, and it's also how I pay my bills.
Right.
So that, I mean, one has to be realistic and recognize that as well. But I mean, you know, I feel so privileged to do this for a living.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I love it, and therefore do it. Why not do it a lot?
Well, and as we've noticed here, just from the 3 songs you've done so far, I mean, it seems like a lot of these songs are autobiographical.
Oh yeah, very much so. I'm not very good at fiction, it turns out. So I just sort of write about the things that are bothering me.
Life experiences, that's the best way to do it. Something else I really admire about you also back during the pandemic was you supporting, you sort of did like a live stream fundraiser to support independent venues during COVID back in 2020.
Yeah.
And to raise money for those places. How did all that go? I mean, was it the difference maker you thought it would be? It had to be very, very satisfying to do as well.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it kept me occupied, which was the self-interested part of it. It started right at the beginning of the pandemic. When people weren't entirely sure how severe everything was going to be, I was on a tour that got cancelled. A lot of friends of mine run independent venues. You know, I've played enough of them over the years. We've hung out. And I had some calls from people asking if I could come and do a live stream from their venue, which was my initial plan. And then the government in the UK said, don't leave your house ever. And the first thing I did when I got home from the tour is I did a live stream to raise money for my crew. And live streaming was very in its infancy at that point. But I set my laptop up and sat in front of it and played a bunch of songs, and we raised like 45 grand for my crew in an hour.
That's amazing.
And it was just like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
I've got more songs.
I can keep going.
And yeah, so then the following week I did one for a venue that's very dear to my heart called Nambucca, which is in North London. I actually used to live there at one point. And then my friends from the Joiners on Southampton was just like, hey, why are you doing for them and not for us? And I said, okay, fine. And then before you knew it, it was a rolling series. I think we did 21 shows in the end. I say we, I. And each of them was a fundraiser, and in total we raised about 300 grand for independent venues.
Amazing.
And I don't think that there's a single instance where that was the only thing that saved those venues or whatever, but I think with each of them it helped them get through one of the roughest parts kind of thing. And I suspect I will drink for free in a few places. Not that I will take that offer up, incidentally, because the whole point is supporting independent venues, and anyone who knows anything about it knows that the bar takes a big part of the deal.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, it was. I felt good about it. It kept me occupied. It was. I can look back on those years with a degree of kind of satisfaction, pride, however you want to put it.
Yeah, it's a way to give back too, to support some of these places, because that was just a dark time, and that's just a wonderful thing you did to help throughout that time. Frank Turner joining us here for a Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session for our Summit members. I want to ask you to play a song that we played quite a bit. I don't know, 10 years ago now so. And this one sort of ties into our wellness initiatives that we are very proud of here at this radio station, propping up the wellness community and supporting them. I was wondering if you could play the song Recovery for us.
I would love to, but I'm going to be 100% straight up with you and our beautiful audience. So it's early in the morning, and I wrote this song 12 years ago maybe, and at a point in time when I was younger and more flexible. And this song has a very high range, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play it in a slightly different key, and I'm going to be working out the chord changes on the fly. So if there is a mess up in my left hand,
Frank, you're amazing.
Beg your
We
forgiveness.
love you for doing this and powering through. Just thank you.
We'll give this a try. Are we ready? Here we go. This song's called Recovery.
Blacking in and out in a strange spot in East London. Somebody I don't really know just gave me something to help settle me down, to stop me from always thinking about you. And you know your life is heading in a questionable direction when you're up for days of strangers and you can't remember anything except the way you sounded when you told me you didn't know what I should do. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way back to the light. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way to making it right. So I've been waking in the morning just like every other day, and just like every boring blues song I get swallowed by the pain. So I fumble for your figure in the darkness to make it go away. But you're not lying there any longer, and I know that that's my fault. So I've been pounding on the floor, and I've been crawling up the walls, and I've been dipping in my darkness. Serotonin boosters, cider and some kind of smelling salts. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way back to the light. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way to making it right. And on the first night we met, you said, well, darling, let's make a deal. If anybody ever asks us, let's just tell them that we met in jail. And that's a story that I'm sticking to like a stony-faced accomplice. Tonight I need to hear the truth, that I'm ever getting through this. Yeah, you once sent me a letter that said if you're lost at sea, close your eyes and catch a tide, my dear, and only think of me. Well, darling, now I'm sinking and I'm as lost as lost could be, and I was hoping you could drag me up and down here towards my recovery. It's going quite well. Just give me a sign, just a subtle little glimmer, some suggestion that you'd have me. If I could only make me better, then I would stand a little stronger as I walked a little taller all the time. Cause I know you are a cynic, but I think I can convince you. Cause broken people can get better if they really want to. Or at least that's what I have to tell myself if I'm hoping to survive. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way back to the light. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way to making it right. Darling, sweet lover, won't you help me to recover? Darling, sweet lover, won't you help me to recover? Darling, sweet lover, won't you help me to recover? Darling, sweet lover, one day this will all be over. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was so good. Frank, thank you for powering through on that one. Recovery, one of our favorites here for a while here at the Summit FM. Frank Turner joining us here for another Wayside Furniture Blind & Son Studio C session. The Lost Evenings Music Festival coming up later this week in Toronto. Best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Coming up, that's a very, very big thing for you. And again, you know, you are a proud road warrior, touring constantly, but still, touring is a grind. I know it's early for you. You're still waking up. You don't have to do these sorts of things for radio, but we appreciate you doing it very, very much.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much indeed.
It's
Thanks
been our
everyone for coming
pleasure.
as well.
Frank Turner, everyone.